Hello, everyone, and welcome to Battle of the Beasts, Series 6 Transformation Takedown Grand Finale. Oh my god, we're at the finale. Oh my god! Okay. 30 beasts went into this tournament, and now, after 28 battles, we're down to 2. This is the 29th battle of this tournament, and oh my god, we're at the finals. Yes. So, we have 2 beasts left standing, and let's introduce them. Representing Series 10, Master of the Beasts, the killer of Kroko, the Father of Fear in round 1, Spikefin, the Water King in round 2, Selkara, Monster of the Depths in round 3, and Doomskull, the King of Fear in round 4. We have probably the most powerful beast of Series 10, Tecton, the Armored Giant, versus his opponent, the killer of Zirkon the Shapesealer in round 1, the slaughterer of Leptika the Nocturnal Nightmare in round 2. In round 3, this beast killed Noctilla the Death Owl, and in round 4, he slaughtered Lustor the Acid Dart. This beast is a representative of Series 13, the Warrior's Road, and this beast is otherwise known as Koba, Ghoul of the Shadows. So with these 2 beasts, these are, in my opinion, the correct final 2. This is going to be a great battle, in my opinion. But the question is, out of these 2 beasts, which one of them is joining Torpix the Twisting Serpent, Raksha the Mirror Demon, Wardock the Sky Terror, Jakara the Ghost Warrior, and Kreta the Winged Terror in the Victor's Circle of Battle of the Beasts? And when I say Victor's Circle, for a disclaimer, I do mean from the tournaments which I've hosted, because I've hosted 5 tournaments before this one, and those were the 5 winners. I'm aware there are tournaments created by other people where they had winners as well, which aren't in this Victor's Circle. I'm not counting them. No offense, guys. Still a great tournament, so. But I'm just counting my winners. So, which of these 2 beasts are joining the Victor's Circle? I have no idea, because honestly, I could see either of them winning. But with that, we're going to need to get to the stats, and then we can begin this epic final battle. Tecton the Armored Giant. Tecton is an ancient beast, once defeated by the White Knight of Forson. With 4 powerful legs, his body is covered in a thick hide of overlapping armor plates, bristling with spikes. His short legs don't stop him from moving quickly. Tecton has a different method of chasing his prey. He can curl into a ball like a giant hedgehog and roll across the ground to crush his victims. Age 323. Power 208. Magic level 132. Fright factor 78. Size 304. Powers and abilities: natural weaponry and spike projectiles, natural armor, ball form, enhanced speed, and cold resistance, as well as having the ability to transform to and from the White Knight of Forson at will. This beast, as the White Knight, has the trident, daggers from the Golden Knight, lance, and a rope. Weaknesses is pierceable shell, dentable shell, and removable shell. Koba, Ghoul of the Shadows. At the end of the Warrior's Road, Tom encountered this terrifying shapeshifter. His true form is of a muscular genie-like beast with huge clawed hands, but this ghoul delights in changing into other forms to weaken the resolve of heroes and adventurers who cross his path. Age 400. Power 280. Magic level 184. Fright factor 93. Size 140. Powers and abilities: shapeshifting. This beast can transform into any of the beasts that he's faced off in the past before. Those beasts including Kamar the Faceless Beast, Sultra the Stone Charmer, Kroko the Father of Fear, Kreta the Winged Terror, Skrar the Night Scavenger, Zirkon the Shapesealer, Leptika the Nocturnal Nightmare, Noctilla the Death Owl, and Lustor the Acid Dart. Memory reading and ability replication, natural weaponry, limited levitation, master deceiver, fear and doubt empowerment, control of the arena, corruption, and resurrection, which is banned in this tournament. Equipment: Koba wields the equipment of any beast he transforms into, and that's pretty much what I can say, as well as the abilities. Weaknesses is wound retainment and finger removal. Okay, so with that, we're going to go into the battlefield. But after talking about the stats of Tecton, the Armor Giant, and Koba, the Ghoul of the Shadows, I know exactly what battlefield we're going with, and that is, of course, the Fallen Kingdom Arena. Thank you, Koba, for summoning it up at the end of your last battle. With that, let's get into this battle. So, as the chamber doors open, Tecton comes out into the arena as his White Knight, lifting up his arms, trying to get the crowd to cheer. The crowd's going ballistic, cheering, shouting, Tecton, Tecton, Tecton. Meanwhile, on the other side, you got the spectators going this, Koba, Koba, Koba. So the spectators, each beast have their own fans. The White Knight makes his way out, making his way to the center of the arena, daggers at the ready, ready to stare down his opponent. All he sees in the chamber is just one soul green eye. And then, sinister smile starts emerging as red fog instantly appears throughout the chamber. And then, coming its way out comes Koba in all his glory, dragging his claws along the wall, sending sparks flying, illuminating his whole muscular body as he makes his way out of the chamber and roars into the arena. Tecton the White Knight wasting no time, instantly grabs the rope and throws it towards Koba. The rope wraps around Koba's wrist, and the Knight goes to pull him in. Koba feels his arm being dragged and using one finger claw to slices right through the rope, grabs the rock and chucks it towards the White Knight, hitting him square in the chest, knocking the Knight backwards. Knight, in reaction, changes into Tecton and rolls towards Koba. Koba decides to laugh at this, changes into Crocole, and using his fist just batters Tecton, knocking him into the wall of the arena and sending him round. Tecton goes along with this, rolls around the whole arena, making the black ring going around the arena. Koba decides, let's make the terrain a bit more rocky. Snaps his fingers and the terrain changes into a rocky terrain arena or mountainous arena, let's say. Tecton's going up and down, up and down, up and down, where he eventually comes down to the center of the arena, his movement now more restricted. Koba just laughs before changing to Lustor and jumps sideways before snapping again. The arena suddenly disappears completely, water starts rising, and where Tecton's standing is one island, whilst 12 spokes comes out of each side of the arena, connects into the walls as Lustor dives into the water. Tecton's now completely restricted on this, but knowing he's gone against a beast like in this arena before, and knowing he's won, he should be fine. Lustor makes his way around the watery arena before bursting out, landing on a spoke, and shooting a jet of acid towards Tecton. Tecton reverts back to the White Knight form and ducks to the ground, and then charges up towards Koba, grabbing the trident and throwing it right at Koba. Lustor. Lustor changes into Creta as the swarm form avoids the trident going right through him. And Creta just laughs maniacally before coming together, snapping a finger, and the water disappears. The ground changes, and now the cave arena comes up. The White Knight pulls out the daggers, goes to slash towards Creta, which has changed into Zircon, and the slash sends Zircon go flying back, clutching against the wall of the arena for climbing up it, laughing maniacally as the wounds start healing, and he lands in the center, right where the White Knight was, but the White Knight's now against the wall. The White Knight stares down the Zircon, who just laughs maniacally and says, you did a good job of getting here, right? And then all he does is this. You did a good job getting here, right, T? White Knight confused by this because he's never been called T before. And Zircon just responds saying, you did a bad job, T. Hold on, let's try that again. Sorry, I had something planned for this. Hold on. You did a bad job, T. Before instantly darting up towards the White Knight, shrouded in darkness. Let's turn that down, where the White Knight could barely see the outline of Zircon. making his way up to him, crawling on all fours, laughing maniacally before standing up right in front of him and slashing at the White Knight, going right through his chainmail. The sun brightness up now. The White Knight goes flying backwards before changing into Tecton, lifting up both his claws and slamming it down on Zircon, knocking Zircon back. Zircon heals himself before changing into Leptika, laughing maniacally, trying to stare right into his eyes, trying to hypnotize him, but it doesn't seem to be working. Almost like the knight knows not to stare into the eyes. Tecton swings his tail, sends spike projectiles straight towards Leptika. Leptika dodges each and every one, and then changes into Noctilla right before him, and starts throwing tar directly towards Tecton. The tar burns on Tecton's shell, but Tecton just roars it through and sends spike projectiles. Some of them hit Noctilla, and Noctilla falls to the ground and just lies there. Tecton makes his way up towards Noctilla, being cautious not to fall into any trap. He digs his claws into Noctilla's tail, just trying to see if there's any life in this beast. Right before Tecton's eyes, Noctilla changed into Cressa, swarming up and going inside of Tecton. Tecton suddenly reels back as his whole face is shrouded by a swarm of Stabias, all crawling inside of him, eating away at his insides. Tecton's roaring in pain over this, but knowing he can't really do anything, he just rolls into a ball and tries to slam himself into the wall of the arena, trying to give the Stabias blunt force trauma. It's working to some extent. Koba realizes he needs to get out of there, so he changes into Krokol and bursts his way out of the ball. Coming out of Tecton, of course, he's stuck in the ball, so he bursts into Krokol to break his way out, shoots gunk all over the floor of the arena, and then changes into... Actually, no, stays as Krokol. Tecton comes to a stop and is now bounded to his feet as he's now trapped to the floor. Tecton, realizing he's trapped, stares up at Krokol, who's just flying and just saying, "You are no match for me." Tecton swings his tail, shooting spike projectiles towards him. Koba just lifts up his arm, projects in his face, and it just bounces right off him. Before using the power of the golden armor, Krokol charges down towards him, using his fist with the power of the golden gauntlets, punches right down onto Tecton's head, slamming Tecton's head into the ground. Tecton's able to lift his head up and bite onto Krokol's hand and slams Krokol into the floor. Krokol tries to take up to the sky, but his legs or feet are trapped to the ground because of the goo, in which Krokol just scoffs for snapping and changing the arena, where the floor changes as well. They're now down to the rocky terrain arena. Tecton laughs, lifts up a claw and slashes at Krokol, sending Krokol flying. But Krokol, not wanting to be outdone, charges up towards Tecton with the power of the golden leg armor, and then goes to batter Tecton, knocking his head to the side and then slamming his head into the ground before uppercutting him again, sending the whole armadillo flying backwards. Tecton lands on his back before curling up into a ball and charging up towards Krokol. Krokol changes into Sultra, diving out of the way before mist starts to envelop the arena. And Tecton then comes to a stop, realizing that he can't see. Sultra then uses her alluring voice to try and trap Tecton in. Tecton, not wanting to fall victim to that, realizes what beast he's going against. Seeing the dusty ground, he lifts up his claw, slams it into the ground, creating a dust cloud that envelops the whole arena around the mist, and suddenly the singing turns into scream as dust gets into Sultra's eye. Sultra roars in pain, or screams in pain, before changing into Kamar, mist dissipating, and shooting a spiderweb towards Tecton, wrapping it around Tecton's neck and arms. Tecton just breaks free from that before being greeted by a spiderweb-like sword stabbing right at Tecton's shell, which just breaks apart instantly. He turns around to see what this joke is, and Kamar just backs away, going like, "That wasn't a good idea, was it?" Before changing into Krokol and says, "But this was a good idea," and uppercuts him, and uppercuts Tecton, knocking him back, and then flying up, slamming his head into the ground again for wrapping his arms right around Tecton's neck and saying, "Any last words? You're not gonna win. You are too weak to beat me." Tecton then reverts back to his night form and says, "If you think you are worthy of winning, beat me as your true form." Kroko, not wanting to be insulted like that, decides to change into Koba. Sorry about that. Kroko, not wanting to be outdone, changes into Koba and says, "Fine, I'll beat you just this way, because look at you, you're a tiny little knight." Koba makes his way up to him. All the White Knight has is his daggers. He lost his lance in the clock arena, like the trident. He charges up towards Koba, lifting up both his daggers to stab into Koba. Koba just knocks him aside and says, "Your honor is nothing. You tried to do honor, and you're still not going to win. Look at me. I'm the master of deceiving. And I don't need to go to your honor," for changing into Leptika, grabbing the knight and hoisting him up to the sky. The knight changed into Tecton, and Leptika instantly drops Tecton before changing into Kroko and pummeling him down to the ground with him. Tecton slams into the ground, roaring in pain over this, and then Kroko changes into Lustor, wrapping Tecton's neck with Lustor's tongue and then spraying a jet of acid right on Tecton's underbelly. Tecton roars in pain over this as he's being burnt alive, as he's being strangled as well, and Lustor, using his claws, digs into Tecton's underbelly, grabbing at any organs, pulling them out, and grabs onto a heart. But Tecton, right before Lustor pulls out Tecton's heart, Tecton slashes at Lustor's throat sac. Lustor immediately releases his grip and falls to the ground. Tecton reverts back to his White Knight form, and Lustor reverts back to Koba's form. Both of them standing up, clutching their wounds. Koba his neck, the White Knight his gut, as he's just struggling to even make it, struggling to walk. Both of them, they both stare each other down. Koba laughing, thinking he's fine. The White Knight not letting any fear get into him. They don't know what to do. They charge up towards each other and go to punch each other one last time, or in the White Knight's case, use the dagger. The White Knight slashes at Koba's gut with the dagger, whilst Koba slams the White Knight into the ground. Both of them on the ground now, and after what seems like ages, they both lay there motionless. But eventually, one gets up. Retaining all of their wounds, they get up and struggle their way to the chamber where they came from, grabbing the trophy on the way out, grabbing the trophy on the way in, knowing that they have won after finishing off this beast. So, with that, the tournament is over. This was a tough battle to decide the winner, but I think I have my winner. So with that, the winner of Battle of the Beast Series 6 Transformation Takedown is none other than Koba, God of the Shadows. And to be fair, like Tecton, if you think Tecton should win, please comment below. I think that I have my words final, and Koba is our winner for Transformation Takedown. And to be fair, I think it's very fitting that Koba's the winner, because Koba is the embodiment of transformation beasts. So having him win Transformation Takedown makes a lot of sense, because he can transform into multiple things at will. Tecton can also transform into the White Knight at will, but I digress. Ultimately, though, Koba is the killer of so many people in the past in this book, and Knights are no exception. So I think the White Knight, despite being experienced, may not stand much of a chance. Tecton would also stand not much of a chance compared to the beast that Koba could transform into. Lustor, Kroko, Cressa, and more. And yeah, for me, Koba is the easy winner. And yeah, I'm fully aware a lot of people has been betting on Koba to win. And it doesn't surprise me. Koba, I think, is the best beast in this tournament. When I did the drafting, I looked at this and thought, yeah, it's kind of obvious who would win. But okay, let's see if we can make this fun. And it was fun. I enjoyed it. So yeah, Koba's our winner. I had a bit of a fumble with one of the bits in this because I wanted to do a reference which would actually entirely wrap up Koba's references to Sin from Murder Drones, which was obviously Bad Job T, then doing that. But I missed the power button on my light, which is right there. So it was a bit annoying, but I eventually got it right. But yeah, that was the whole idea of that reference, which I thought was actually really good and really intimidating. Koba has been a terrifying beast this tournament, and constantly getting more beasts to transform into makes him better. And that's why Koba, in my opinion, is the winner of this tournament. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this tournament, and that's all for this time. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press the notification bell down in the corner below. I don't know why I keep saying that. And join me in the next video where I'll be doing my top 10 favourite fights from Transformation Takedown. Until then, I've been Adam, and this has been Battle of the Beasts. Peace out.